Yeah, sources close to the campaign are saying it's a three-man race for VP. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, and Florida Senator Marco Rubio. Burgum has been out on the road a lot, publicly campaigning for former President Trump. Trump was just in Ohio recently talking up Vance, and Rubio and Trump have mended their relationship. Now, Trump, as you mentioned, Blake, also teased that his running mate would be at this Thursday's debate, though they don't know they are his pick. Now, we confirmed that Burgum and South Carolina Senator Tim Scott are going to the debate, though Scott seems to have not made that top three list that we were talking about, at least for now. As you said, Blake, I also covered the former president since 2015, and we know nothing is final until it's final, so it could be a guessing game until the convention. Blake?
Indeed, indeed. Kelly Meyer, live for us at the White House. Kelly, thank you. Come on in, one of the men who knows him best. Mick Mulvaney, former Trump White House Chief of Staff, NewsNation contributor. Mick, you are hearing one name in particular. Tell me.
Yeah, I spent the weekend in New York and talked to a bunch of people that were close to the campaign, and the name that came up with each of them was J.D. Vance. And of that list that you just put there, the three, the sort of top three, that your sources are reporting to, J.D. Vance makes the most sense. Doug Burgum, you know, I've always been skeptical of that because I'm not really sure what he adds to the campaign, and I think that most of his promotion has been self-promotion. I don't think that's a pejorative because Trump doesn't mind a little self-promotion, so I think he respects that. He'd be okay with that. Marco Rubio, again, very capable guy. All these guys are capable guys who make good candidates, but Marco still has the Florida problem. Keep in mind, it's not even clear who the vice president might be if the Florida votes don't count for vice president. If both Rubio and Trump are still living in Florida at the time of the election, it's not really clear what Rubio could do to sort of get elected. The J.D. Vance thing comes down, and when I asked the question, what does he add? The people all said nothing. Trump just likes him. And that makes a lot of sense. That's sort of what Trump is one of the greatest gut politicians I've ever seen. And if his gut tells him it's going to be J.D. Vance, it's going to be J.D. Vance. I don't put much value. A lot of folks today have drawn attention to the fact that Trump says he's made up his mind. He said that back in January. And there's a bunch of folks saying, oh, by the way, Ben Carson hasn't talked to the president about this in a long time. I don't put any value on that either, just because they know each other. There's no reason for them to have to talk about this.
I just heard you, though, Mick, say you think he makes the most sense. Why?
Out of those three, I think J.D. Vance makes the most sense because the other two, just there's difficulties with them. I still think Tim Scott and Ben Carson are on the list. I'm learning just now from Kelly Meyer that Tim Scott's going to go down to the debate in Atlanta on Thursday night. That's interesting. But I don't put much weight in that whole I've made up my mind thing from Trump or that the person's going to be in the room. That's one of the things that goes by the wayside as soon as he actually makes the announcement.
So let me ask you this, because it's not to undercut our reporting, right? We're hearing what we're hearing, and you know how Donald Trump is, Mick. It's not really final until it's final. So of that list that we just put out there, the odds that you think it actually comes from that list are?
75%. Again, I talked to a bunch of different people independently of each other, and they all told me the same thing, which is that J.D. Vance's star is certainly rising when it comes to the VP race.
All right, Mick, we'll see you back here in about 25 minutes or so for Hot Mike with Mick. What else Mick is hearing and what else Mick is thinking, that's later here on The Hill. Mick, we'll catch you then. Thank you. All right, joining us here on The Hill, Chris Stirewalt, host of The Hill Sunday, senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. Scott Bolden, former D.C. Democratic Party chairman, NewsNation contributor as well. And Denise Gitsham, Republican strategist, NewsNation contributor. Hello to you all. Nice to have you all in on this Monday. Seems like we got a little bit of news. I know we're thinking about and focused about the debate on Thursday, but Trump's got a big decision coming up here. Chris, I wonder sort of, is that list a trial balloon to see how Republicans and maybe persuadables are going to act? You heard Mick put it basically at 75%. It comes off there. I wonder what you make of it and why we're sort of getting that list right now.
Well, I mean, they have to say something, and what Donald Trump is going to try to do here is ratchet up the buzz around this, the expectation around this as much as possible. And it's effective here. We are talking about it. Right. Everybody's talking about it. Today, everybody's saying, well, will it be this guy or will it be that guy? In the end, I think it would be, I certainly don't rule out the possibility that Donald Trump would choose J.D. Vance. Mick said he doesn't, people say, I don't know what it gets him, but that doesn't matter. I think it matters a great deal in a very close election.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.